Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, and Goliad authorities are looking for information following a cockfighting ring bust Saturday. A man in the Houston area dead after an order dispute at a fast food restaurant. And a massive exodus is underway at the office of Congressman Henry Cuellar following his bribery charges.
And stormy weather all over the crossroads. Tonight, everything is out in Louisiana and moving offshore, so we've got improving weather. However, there's still quite a bit of damage that we need to assess. The hail, the wind, and the heavy rain, all that we'll be talking about coming up in a moment.
And St. Joseph softball headed to the state title game, and we are getting deeper in the postseason on the diamond. I'll have those matchups in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia will be with us soon. A candidates forum for the GOP State Representative District 30 runoff took place tonight in Cuero. 25 News Now anchor Karina Garcia has more. Karina?
Yeah, Don, this District 30 runoff race between former mayor of Victoria, Jeff Bouknight, and former Jackson County Sheriff A.J. Louderback is one of the most closely watched races in our Crossroads area. Both Bouknight and Louderback covered a wide range of topics, including property taxes, school vouchers, and school safety, as well as power grid accountability. Still, Louderback strongly pushed for border security, saying that was his top priority.
Across this district, there's one constant: border security. The fear for your kids, your grandkids, your families out here has been relayed to me over and over again. My plan is to stop it. Use force, deportation.
Meanwhile, Bouknight recognized border security as a top priority, but he also touched base on what he believes should also take center stage.
President Trump gets in the office, that's going to be fantastic, but we need to safeguard ourselves for the future. We've got water issues we need to deal with in our district and across the state. And if we're going to continue to grow and prosper as a state, we're going to have to tackle a bunch of water issues. Property tax reform. Continue down that way to make sure that we don't price out people out of their homes.
I was also able to talk to some voters at the forum who say, or rather spoke on the smear campaign that both Bouknight and Louderback have taken part in. And while they don't agree with the name calling, they understand that these kinds of things can get personal at times. Now, this race is set for May 28th and early voting kicks off May 20th. Don, back to you.
All right, Karina, thank you. A major storm hit the crossroads this afternoon. It brought heavy rains, it brought strong winds, and it brought hail. That hail causing damage in the crossroads. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick is here with more. Adarius?
Hail slammed onto the Victoria area earlier this afternoon around 2:15. Some of the hail was as large as a golf ball. The hail was mostly dime-sized, but in other areas, the hail was much larger. As the hail crashed on the area, some neighborhoods in Victoria saw damaged property like broken windows. Victoria Police Department reported flooding on several streets and numerous locations where trees and limbs were blocking the roadway. There were 2 reports of trees on roadways in Lavaca County where the storms first hit. Soon after the storm moved to the Calhoun County area, the damage hit homes and property near the Magnolia Beach. Mobile homes and RVs in the area were hit hard as the storm passed by, something like that right there on your screen. The Port Lavaca Wave reported about the damage in Calhoun County. They say injuries are still unknown at the moment. Don, Karina, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. And here's your viewer poll tonight. Scan the QR code on your screen right there to vote now. Here's the question. Did you receive any weather damage this afternoon? Yes or no? The numbers have changed quite a bit from 6 o'clock. Yes, 48%, no, 52%, and we thank you for voting. The hailstorm hit the San Antonio area in Poteet. People saw hail just larger than a quarter. One structure sustained severe damage. Strong winds swept through, ripping off the roof of a bar. The roof ended up landing on the other side of the road, and their patio covering was damaged. And let's take a first look at your forecast now with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis, who is on the air. When did you go on the air first, Mac? Around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock this afternoon?
About 1 o'clock this afternoon. Just when we saw the big storms out to the west, we said, uh-oh, the direction is this way. It's going to be here soon. So we started doing the cut-ins. I hope that it helped get people prepared for what was coming. At this hour of the evening, all of the stormy weather has left the Victoria area up here. The last few places that got pounded by the hail, 1-inch hail as well, was down in the valley. Rio Grande City and Edinburgh and McAllen also had some 1-inch hail. We'll be talking about what to expect tonight and tomorrow and the rest of the week. All that coming up in just a moment. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. Goliad County authorities are still gathering information after breaking up a cockfighting ring there Saturday. Authorities say 63 suspects were arrested. 45 vehicles and 8 trailers were impounded. An Operation Lone Star task force raided the cockfighting ring after getting a warrant. Suspects were charged with engaging in organized criminal activity and cockfighting. Multiple guns were seized, and some suspects were also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. Yoakum police arrested a 36-year-old suspect Thursday. Linda Blackwell is charged with assault of a family member, impeding breath or circulation. She is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $100,000 bond. A 24-year-old suspect was arrested by Yoakum police last Wednesday. Aubrey Britton is charged with assault of a public servant. She is in the DeWitt County Jail in lieu of $75,000 bond. In Victoria, firefighters responded to a structure fire at a home on Flamingo Drive. The husband says first responders told him the fire started as a freak accident involving burnt wires in a corner alongside the front door. Electricity to the home had to be shut down, and the house sustained smoke damage in the attic. The American Red Cross arrived shortly after 3:50 a.m. to assist the couple with temporary housing. Israel is marking Memorial Day today in the shadow of the Gaza war.
Intensifying fighting has more Palestinians trying to escape that violence.
The Israeli army stepping up attacks in Gaza, both in the north and south, pushing towards Rafah, Hamas's last stronghold. Civilians fleeing once again in a mass exodus. The UN estimates more than 360,000 Gazans have fled eastern Rafah. Many had originally gone to Rafah to seek safety from the war. Satellite pictures show the rapid growth of a refugee camp in southern Gaza. But some Israeli settlers blocking trucks and tossing aid packages today. Protesters upset the government would open the supply route on Israel's Memorial Day, when many are remembering those killed on October 7th, the day Hamas fighters stormed into southern Israel, killing 1,200 and taking hundreds hostage.
Every day that passes is a matter of life or death for them.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to bring the hostages home. Bereaved families at a Memorial Day ceremony heckling Netanyahu, calling him garbage and blaming him for the deaths of their children.
The U.S. State Department says it's possible Israel may have violated international law during its war with Hamas. Israel says it's doing everything it can to protect Palestinian civilians. Alexis Christoforous, ABC News, New York.
A Houston man is charged with murdering a customer at a fast food restaurant who intervened in a dispute over an order. Authorities say Anthony Martin Landry entered the restaurant earlier this month demanding a refund. Store manager said Landry became irritated and called some employees racial slurs. One customer stepped in to defend the employees. The two men started arguing. Police say Landry took a gun from his vehicle, followed the man inside and shot him multiple times. That customer died at the scene.
A weekend full of college graduations with less protesting than expected.
Here's a look at how commencement ceremonies played out at different colleges and universities across the nation.
The disruptions by protesters at graduations far smaller than the headlines they have been garnering. Police pushing back protesters outside the Pomona College commencement. At UC Berkeley, the uproar so loud, the dean of students paused her remarks.
I invite you to speak with me after the event in a space that's more appropriate.
At Duke University, dozens of students walking out, chanting Free Palestine, as Jerry Seinfeld, who visited survivors of the October 7th massacre in Israel to show his support, was introduced. The booing drowned out by chanting. Senator John Fetterman responding on Twitter how small the group walking out actually was compared to the attention they got. Protests and walkouts at Virginia Commonwealth University as Governor Glenn Youngkin began to speak. At the University of Wisconsin in Madison, a harder line, police escorting a few students out of the ceremony. This after they displayed a Palestinian flag while others turned their backs on the school chancellor's speech. But these outbursts, not as dramatic as some feared. And there were calmer commencements at some of the campuses where protests have raged in recent weeks.
With a charged atmosphere on college campuses nationwide, you are once again adapting to the unprecedented.
At the University of Texas, Austin, small displays of solidarity with Palestinians. At Columbia and Pomona, encampments and protests overrun the stages set for commencement ceremonies. Locations and dates hastily rearranged.
I think it's sad, and I think it's a really bad way to end your college career.
Anxiety remains with more commencements on the horizon, including at protest hotspots like Columbia, George Washington University, and NYU later this week. And President Joe Biden's planned address at Morehouse. Camila Bernal, CNN, Los Angeles.
Staff members for indicted Democrat Congressman Henry Cuellar of Laredo are leaving in droves. CNN reports only about 3 of 4 full-time employees are left at his D.C. office, and they are all trying to leave. This comes after Cuellar and his wife are charged with accepting nearly $600,000 in bribes from 2 foreign entities. Cuellar has said they are innocent of the allegations, and he vowed to continue his bid for re-election in November. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. 3 people were shot Sunday morning in Tampa. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, the latest in the police investigation there.
Also ahead, more than 100 active wildfires are burning across Canada, and they're affecting parts of the U.S. Tampa police are looking for the people responsible for a shooting that killed 2 people and left another hurt on Mother's Day morning. Police say the shooting involved 2 groups of people who had issues with each other. The victims were identified as 28-year-old Kenneth Washington and 23-year-old Kevon Christmas. They said another person was sent to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg. Now, crews conducted a controlled demolition to break down the largest remaining span of the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. The demolition today marked a major step in freeing the Ground Dali container ship. The span landed on the ship's bow after it lost power and crashed into one of the bridge's support columns on March 26. Since then, the ship has been stuck amid the wreckage, and Baltimore's busy port has been closed to most maritime traffic. The controlled demolition will allow the Dali to be refloated and restore traffic through that port. Now, wildfires burning across Western Canada are causing air quality concerns in parts of the Midwest.
Firefighters are working to tame more than 100 active fires as harmful smoke crosses the U.S. border.
Right now, Western Canada is on fire.
Season started again.
An eyewitness capturing this wall of flames marching across this highway in the western province of Alberta. These satellite images show the widespread damage, which officials estimating more than 100 wildfires are ravaging the region, with dozens of them considered out of control, including one in British Columbia, scorching thousands of acres and forcing thousands of people to evacuate.
With no precipitation, no major precipitation in the forecast ahead, and winds that can pick up at any time, let's just say we are extremely concerned.
The toxic smoke now billowing south across the border into the U.S., drifting into the upper Midwest and western Great Lakes. Weather maps show the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and parts of Michigan are all impacted. Look at these aerials showing a smoky haze in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota today. Minnesota issuing its first air quality alert of 2024. Forecasters say the smoke could impact Nebraska and Iowa next. These latest wildfires are reminiscent of last summer's wildfires in Canada, where smoke reached as far south as Georgia, leaving New York City's skyline in an orange fog.
And right now, officials are urging people in Minnesota to stay indoors. The smoke is expected to taper off, but more could reach Kansas and Oklahoma on Tuesday. Tim Pulliam, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The first patient to receive a genetically edited kidney from a pig has died. A Massachusetts General Hospital spokesperson said Rick Slayman died months after undergoing the kidney transplant. Doctors say there is no evidence to suggest the transplant caused his death. The hospital released a statement saying in part, quote, Slayman will forever be seen as a beacon of hope to countless transplant patients worldwide, unquote. The hospital sent its condolences to his family and called him an extraordinary person.
The Texas delegation is urging Congress to withhold aid to Mexico over a water treaty dispute. You can read this Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And now here is Mac.
Well, thank you very much. We, of course, are picking up the pieces, assessing the damage that occurred today. Right now, we're looking at 69 degrees. We managed to get up to 89 before all the thunder and lightning rolled in. Officially, we had 1.47 out at the airport, but Riverside Park comes in with 2.7 inches, so almost 3 inches in the city within, what, an hour? We'll be talking more about what to expect for tomorrow and the rest of the week coming up in a moment. Well, we were on storm duty today, and we're still picking up all the emails and the notes that we got. Just one that I just received, basically I just read it right now, that in Calhoun County, we know that was wind damage, but apparently 9 RVs were flipped over, and there were 2 injuries at that location. It was 2 miles south of the city, so obviously it got serious in some parts of the crossroads. Of course, it was serious right through the downtown area when all the hail was coming down. Last week I mentioned to you this area of low pressure. It was up here, went like this, and we thought it would be coming down to be our Mother's Day storm, but fortunately it didn't do that. It came above us, and as a result we didn't get Mother's Day storms, which is great, but today we got all of them. Now that is the lifting that is causing all the stormy weather to go in that direction. And you can see how it's all the way in Louisiana, Alabama right now. For us, we've cleared out very nicely. We saw the nice sundown, and you see the big leftover storms coming to the south. That's all moving offshore right now. So and as a matter of fact, all the watches and warnings over most of Texas have been dropped as of this hour, as all that storminess moves offshore. Obviously, the storm was one for the record books because we got quite a bit of damage. In Gonzales, there was a lot of trees down. This is in Lavaca County, and of course here in the crossroads, or in Victoria downtown in Navarro, we got 1 1/4 inch hail, the largest I've seen reports of. This is what I've seen on print, is 1.75 inches, 1 3/4 inch hail, almost 2 inch hail. So we did get it, but you know, it was kind of interesting because we were obviously hearing it on our roof. It was coming down not as one big sheet. It was coming down sort of randomly. So it was, I think it could have been worse, you know, could have been a lot more damage. So here's the interesting part. Here's the city. There's the 2 inch mark right about there. You can see how 2 inches over much of the area, basically along Highway 59 from Goliad all the way to the Edna area. And tomorrow we should be having time to allow this to all drain away and probably get a look at your property, because some of you may not even notice there was damage, because you know the roof is up there and we'll have to look at it. Here's all the reports of local storm damage that we got today, and of course this evening, and of course way down south. So tomorrow, not a bad looking day. We start off with sunny skies. Drier air is filtered in. That's good. That's a north wind. But with the heating and the humidity, because we're going to get up to 90, I'm thinking we're going to pop 1 or 2 little isolated afternoon showers, but these will not be serious or severe. And you can see generally sunny skies up to about 90 degrees. And then as we settle down tomorrow, because just of heating and leftover moisture, Wednesday will be good, but we have another one of those upper air storms. And those are the strong ones when they have upper air support. When I say that, you know it's going to be a big one. If I say it's a garden variety shower coming in off the Gulf, well, that's a little one. When the big ones come in, we're looking at Thursday and Friday of this week. So we'll certainly be tracking that whole system for you. That is your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody to check out our QR code, scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Zach Brown, did the rain affect sports today?
I did not. I did not go out today, but I can tell you what, St. Joseph is headed to the state championship game, and the postseason does march on for baseball and softball, those matchups in sports. St. Joseph Lady Flyers taking on Hyde Park in the state semifinal game, and we got to check this out. Here is the final out. This ball smacked into center field. Hyde Park sends the runner home, but the center fielder Gianna comes up with the perfect throw. Jasmine applies the tag at the plate. St. Joseph wins 10-1. They are headed to the state championship game. They're waiting to see who their opponent will be. That game will be tomorrow, May 14th at 10:30 in the morning. Here in the Crossroads as well, more Victoria teams having some success. The East Titans took their series against Sharyland in 3 games. The Titans moving on to the regional quarters. They will get Brownsville Veterans Memorial. Game 1 will be Friday at 7 p.m. Saturday will be Game 2, and if necessary, Game 3 will be immediately after Game 2. All of these games will be in Corpus at Cabness Stadium. Another big series that's going to be here in Victoria. Ganado versus Shiner. These two are district rivals. They were both competing for that district. Now they get another crack at each other. First game is Thursday at 7 p.m. Game 2 would be Friday, and Game 3 would be Saturday. Of course, Game 3, like all these other series, if necessary, all of these games will be at Riverside, and 2 more area teams are going to face each other. We've got the Hallettsville Brahmas getting the Industrial Cobras, waiting to see exactly when and where those games will take place, but always cool to see 2 area teams compete. And hey, we've got more Lavaca County sports doing great things. These are the Hallettsville Lady Brahmas, are still in the hunt for that state championship. They shut the door on Tidehaven, and they move on to the team that got in their way last year. They will get Santa Gertrudis, who ended the Lady Brahma season on a play at the plate very similar to the one we just saw St. Joseph win on. Hallettsville gets another crack at the Lady Lions. Game 1 is May 16th. It is a best-of-3 series. Game 1 is going to be at Sinton High School at 6:30 p.m. Game 2 will be at Cabness Field, and Game 3, if necessary, 30 minutes after Game 2. Should be an exciting one, and probably some revenge on the mind for Hallettsville. And we've got 2 state champions in the Crossroads, both in the same county. These are the ladies from Hallettsville Sacred Heart, the Lady Indians, TAP softball champions. When they returned back home from Waco, they were greeted with a celebration, and the other team in that same county, Shiner St. Paul. This video taken from the Facebook page of Texas High School Baseball. This is right after the final out of the state championship game. They too were greeted well whenever they returned to Shiner with a citywide celebration. Congrats to Hallettsville Sacred Heart and Shiner St. Paul on both bringing some state championships back to the Crossroads. And Don, maybe I got a little bit ahead of myself with the Astros win tonight. The Rangers lost tonight. They're only 6 games back of first place. We still got 130. I told you, Don, don't panic. They still have 130 games left to play. Didn't I say that?
Did he say that?
I thought it was
No. You were the one panicking. I told you, calm down, Don. Calm down.
Turning it around.
Man, did you get hit by hail today? I don't know. Maybe
I did not. Listen, I did not leave the studio today. I figured nobody else would be at practice, and why would I show up? So I'm perfectly level-headed right here, Don.
I think
as always.
We should run that tape
Yeah.
to hold him accountable, because that's what we do here. All righty, well, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, tomorrow is a special day for a Southern breakfast staple.
man received a double lung transplant. 56-year-old Arthur Gillespie worked in law enforcement for nearly 3 decades, but in 2020 he had a severe case of COVID-19 and was diagnosed with lung cancer at the same time. When chemotherapy treatments did not work, he turned to specialists at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Surgeons there had pioneered lung transplantation for COVID-19 patients. In January, Gillespie received his new lungs at Northwestern Memorial Hospital and continues to recover. Geomagnetic storms that brought dazzling colors to areas that rarely see it did cause some chaos. The New York Times reports navigational systems in farming equipment broke down over the weekend. The equipment, including tractors, used GPS to plant precise rows to avoid gaps and overlap. A John Deere dealer in the Midwest warned farmers about the disruptions. This is really bad timing. It's the height of planting season in the Midwest and Canada, and I don't know how many farmers in the Crossroads today were affected by hail and rain and heavy winds, and that's going to affect them too.
Yes, and you can see when a tree has been hit by hail because all the leaves are stripped off. I don't know what it does to a cornfield, and the cornfield we're doing so well. So tomorrow we're going to find out, because we're going to have to assess all that damage to see what happened, because hail was spotty here in the city, but it may have been more substantial in other areas. Looking for maybe a 20% in the afternoon tomorrow because of the heat and the humidity. Otherwise, we're looking for better weather on Tuesday and Wednesday. Next chance for stormy weather will be on Thursday of this week, so we'll certainly be watching on that for you.
All righty, thank you, Mac. Now, Tuesday is National Buttermilk Biscuit Day. The breakfast staple is made with baking powder or soda instead of yeast, and often called a quick bread because it does not need to rise. The biscuits are a Southern staple and can be served with sweet or savory toppings. And don't forget to post a pic on social media using the hashtag Buttermilk Biscuit Day. Savory or sweet?
Melt in your mouth.
Never heard of that stuff.
Yeah. And with gravy.
Yeah, with gravy.
When I used to work at McDonald's, we used to have biscuits and gravy. McDonald's #1 restaurant in the world. We'll stand by that statement.
Very good.
Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10.
Join Carolina, meteorologist Parker Cox, 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.